In the headlines, Tinubu declares additional 25,000 naira pay for low-grade workers as Nigeria marks 63rd independence. Communities resort to self-help in safeguarding families and loved ones in the wake of rising insecurity in Kaduna. Serap sues 36 governors over failure to account for 72 billion subsidy palliative. And away from Nigeria, suicide bomber detonates explosive device in Turkey's Ankara. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Abdurrahman Umar. Thanks for joining. Now, before we begin the news, happy 63rd anniversary to all Nigerians. Now, the news. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said that for the next 6 months, an average low-grade worker shall receive an additional 25,000 naira per month. The president said this in his nationwide broadcast as part of the program of events marking Nigeria's 63rd independence anniversary celebration. President Tinubu said his government is doing all it could to ease the difficulties Nigerians are facing, adding that his government is embarking on several public sector reforms to stabilize the economy, direct fiscal and monetary policy to fight inflation, encourage production, ensure the security of lives and property, and lend more support to the poor and vulnerable. President Tinubu said his administration also opened a new chapter in public transportation through the deployment of cheaper, safer, compressed natural gas CNG buses across the country, adding that buses will operate at a fraction of current fuel prices, positively affecting transport fares.
Based upon our talks with labor, business and other stakeholders, we are introducing a provisional wage award increment to enhance the federal minimum wage without causing undue inflation. To ensure better grassroots development, we set up an infrastructure support fund for states to invest in critical areas. States have already received funds to provide relief packages against the impact of rising food and other prices. Making the economy more robust by lowering transport costs shall be key.
In the meantime, Nigeria's Senate President Godswill Akpabio says the country is on the right path to recovery despite its present security and economic challenges, which he said were temporary and will soon fizzle out. Akpabio, in a statement issued by his spokesperson SMA Ebo on the occasion of the nation's 63rd independence anniversary, said there were many landmarks in the nation's 63rd years of independence to give a sense of optimism for a better tomorrow. Also, Deputy Senate President Barrow Jibrin has urged Nigerians not to despair, saying the challenges facing the country are surmountable with the right commitment of the present administration. Senator Barrow, in his message to Nigerians on the country's 63rd independence anniversary, said though at 63rd, the country has challenges facing it as a nation, such challenges are surmountable. In a similar independence anniversary message, Speaker of the House of Representatives Abbas Tajuddin called on Nigerians to keep their hopes alive, saying Nigeria will be great again. He noted that despite the myriad of challenges facing Nigeria, the country with its abundant human and natural resources has the prospects and potentials to reclaim its leadership position in the Committee of Nations. Now, as Nigeria celebrates its 63rd independence anniversary, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has urged residents of the nation's capital to rededicate themselves to the vision of a stronger and more prosperous Nigeria. Wike stated this in a press statement on the occasion of the 63rd independence anniversary, affirming that FCT symbolizes the coming together of people from all corners of Nigeria, where differences should be celebrated and the tenets of nationhood exemplified. The FCT minister also called on the residents to live up to the tenets of unity, which the capital represents, by building bridges across cultures, religions, and ethnicities. Meanwhile, former President Goodluck Jonathan has urged the citizens to embrace justice and peace in order to realize the Nigerian dream. Jonathan made the address on Sunday in a series of tweets via his profile on X, formerly Twitter, in commemoration of the country's 63rd Independence Day anniversary. The former president called on Nigerians to work towards enthroning equity, justice, peace, and national cohesion in order to bring to fruition the dream of Nigeria, realizing its full potential and holding up the torch of liberty and progress for all Africans. He advised the populace to renew their hope for a greater tomorrow while charting a path out of the present challenges that currently bedevil the nation's development. Now, in the wake of rising insecurity in Kaduna, many communities are resorting to self-help in safeguarding their families and loved ones. Fatima Adamu was recently kidnapped and killed by her abductor, and her mother decided she was not going to wait for the authorities to arrest the perpetrator. So she decided to take matters into her own hands to make sure her daughter gets justice. This brave mother did the unthinkable that led to the arrest of her daughter's killer. Report.
Investigation by Trust TV in Zaria reports that the abductee resides at Sadoki Road in Wusasa of Zaria local government area of Kaduna State. Speaking at her residence, the mother of the kidnapped lady, Nana Fatima, said she could not explain further due to grief. A younger sister to the victim, Hajara Adamu, explained that the young Fatima had traveled to Kaduna with the intention of spending 4 days. Hajara added that when she did not return at the stipulated time, several phone calls were put to her without a response.
In the first instance, when he called, he asked us to pay the ransom to him. He asked us to come along with 200,000 naira, but we begged to bring 120,000 naira. He said he will talk to his superiors if they will agree to release her with that amount. Later, when we took the money, he directed us to go under the flyover bridge. When we got there, he told us to come back, so we headed towards Kasuwa Market in Wusasa, and he again told us to come back and proceed to the hospital. He met and collected the money, assuring us that my sister will be released later in the day. He also informed us not to worry in the event that we call and don't get his line, because the victim will still be released.
At this point, the mother and the sister, after selling her plot of land, took the money to the designated meeting point in Wusasa, Zaria, where she saw and recognized the suspect. Fatima instantly raised alarm, which attracted people to the scene and subsequently helped in arresting the suspect and handed him over to the Dammagaji Divisional Police Station for interrogation. The acting public relations officer, Kaduna State Police Command, ASP Mansur Hassan, has confirmed the arrest of the victim, assuring that investigation is ongoing to get to the root of the matter. From Zaria, Abubakar Sadiq Muhammad, Trust TV News.
Operatives of Operation Safe Haven, a multi-security task force maintaining peace in Plateau and some parts of Bauchi and Kaduna State, have paraded 8 criminal suspects in Jos, the capital of Plateau State. The suspects who were paraded at the headquarters of the command were arrested in connection with the murder of one Dorothy Jonathan and for committing other offenses, including the burning of St. Raphael Catholic Church at Fadan Kamantan village of Zangon Kataf local government area and the killing of a father at Gora town, all in Kaduna State. Ado Musa completes report.
Parading the suspects, the information officer of the operation, Captain Oya James, said 2 of the suspects were arrested for the gruesome murder of Dorothy Jonathan at Afana village in Zangon Kataf local government area of Kaduna State. Captain James explained that the arrest of the suspects and neutralization of some bandits follow intensified effort by the operation, adding that troops will continue to do everything possible to deal with criminality in all areas under their operations.
Acting on credible information, Lord Dauda was immediately arrested following a manhunt operation launched by the troops. In all, we have 8 suspects recently arrested by the dogged troops of Operation Safe Haven in southern Kaduna for their involvement in different acts of crime and criminality.
Some of the suspects speak on their arrest.
Amount, I do not know. And since I was arrested, there's no single question.
We were returning from farm when suddenly soldiers stopped us and asked if we were the ones that killed a Fulani man in the area. Though a gun was found in our possession, I wasn't the one that killed him. I don't know who killed him. The media officer, however, said the commander of the operation appreciated all law-abiding citizens for their support in the fight against criminality, promising that the suspect will be prosecuted in court soon after investigations. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project (SERAP) has accused the 36 state governors of failing to account for the spending of 72 billion naira palliative collected from the federal government. In a statement on Sunday, the group's deputy director Kolowale Olwadare said the anti-corruption project has filed a lawsuit against the governors, saying they also failed to include the details of the beneficiaries and the reliefs provided with the money. Recently, the federal government disbursed 2 billion naira out of the 5 billion palliative package to each state of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) to address the impact of the removal of fuel subsidy. In the suit number FHC/L/CS/1943/2023 filed last Friday at the Federal High Court in Lagos, SERAP is seeking an order of mandamus to direct and compel each of the 36 state governors to account for the spending of the 2 billion palliative collected by the governors from the federal government. The group wants the court to issue an order of mandamus to direct and compel each of the 36 state governors to disclose details of the beneficiaries and the reliefs provided to the poorest and most vulnerable Nigerians with the money. No date has been fixed for the hearing of the suit. Meanwhile, a drug kingpin wanted for attempts to ship illicit drug consignments to the United Kingdom tops the list of arrests made by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) through interdiction operations that led to the seizure of 4 tons of illicit substances in the past week. Director of Media and Advocacy in NDLEA Headquarters Abuja, Femi Babafemi, in a statement said Obiora Chigozie Samuel has been on the wanted list of the agency since 15 September 2023, when a consignment of 1.500 kg skunk concealed in flour going to London, UK, was intercepted at the Sako export shed of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, and his flight agent, Wara Adeogo Precious, arrested. Meanwhile, operatives of the Federal Capital Territory Command of the agency on Friday, 29 September, intercepted a container truck with registration number BDG41XM coming from Lagos to Kano at the Gwagwalada area of the FCT. No less than 1,188 kilograms of skunk loaded at Owo, Ondo State, and hidden under cartons of toothpaste were recovered from the truck, and its driver, Amafan Fatison, 28, arrested. You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Setting the record straight, Tiv community refutes stereotype about their culture. Details of these and more after the break. Please stay with us. back. If you are just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV, and here is a recap of some of our top stories. Tinubu declares additional 25,000 naira pay for low-grade workers as Nigeria marks 63rd independence. And communities resort to self-help in safeguarding families and loved ones in the wake of rising insecurity in Kaduna. Now to more news. The National and State House of Assembly Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Lafia, the Nasarawa State capital, has affirmed the election of the State Assembly Speaker Ibrahim Balarabe and 3 other members of the Assembly. The 3-member panel led by Justice Francisca Aisong Nank in separate judgments which lasted for about 10 hours dismissed the petition for lacking in merit. Affirming the election of the State Assembly Speaker Ibrahim Balarabe of the All Progressive Congress, the tribunal said the petitioner Ibrahim Saad of People's Democratic Party could not substantiate his claim of non-compliance in an election that returned the Speaker on 18th March as winner. The election of the Assembly Majority Leader Muhammad Omar Defo of APC for Kwana constituency, which was challenged by the PDP candidate Basel Oshega, was also affirmed. Similarly, 2 Social Democracy Party members of the Assembly, David and Onaregu Musa Gude of Odege, Loko and Oke Karshi constituencies, won their cases at the tribunal. The tribunal also upheld the election of Musa Saidu Gude as the duly elected member of Oke Karshi State constituency for the March 18, 2023 election.
I want to appreciate Almighty God for giving me this victory today, and I want to thank the panel of judges who has delivered a very sound and well-considered judgment that affirmed my election as member representing Umaisha Uja constituency in the State House of Assembly. I give glory to God. This judgment actually strengthened my mind. I have every belief on judiciary, and I will continue to appreciate them at all times. For my constituents, I should assure them of my good representation, and I will not fail them by the special grace of God.
Now, it's a false narrative designed to ridicule our culture. This is the position of a cross-section of TVs in reaction to a viral video targeting the culture of the TVs. The comments by a reality TV star has irked the TV community in Benue, who say reality is being distorted by people who know nothing about their culture. Jimmy Azandi reports.
Since the latest video surfaced online, there have been reactions from across board. Senior citizens of Tiv origin said it has always been the culture and tradition of the Tiv man to offer the highest level of hospitality to his visitor, a situation often misinterpreted or misrepresented through mischief.
People who make such insults know that Tiv people don't give out their wives to visitors, friends and strangers alike. They happen that because of the magnanimity of Tiv people, hospitality of Tiv people. Tiv people are good to visitors. They are good to themselves. They are good to visitors. When a visitor comes, you give him a lot of attention. You ask your wife to give him drinking water, give him food, put water for him to bath. It's an insult that casts the Tiv people as mumu. They are too good, so they are likely to give their wives out too. This association is known by the people who make it. That is a lie.
Seeing one very well does not necessarily mean you are giving the whole property, including wife, to that person to deal with. It's so uncalled for. And sometimes I look at such things because of maybe out of jealousness. Jealousness because when you treat somebody very well and other people look at it, they feel that they should also be doing as such. And if they could not, they start giving you names and giving you negative, giving a negative impression of the other side. It has never happened, it will never happen. But if you think you will try it, come and try and you see. The grave will be the result. Nobody will give you out his wife to a visitor in Tiv land.
The women on their part, while sharing their experiences on the issue, said the insinuation is only a figment of the imagination of people who have not experienced the Tiv culture.
I have been teaching Tiv in this university for the past 15 years. So, as someone who is teaching the culture of Tea people, I'm supposed to know the culture of my people. I have never had that experience of him asking me or lending me out to a friend or any of his brothers. And I've not heard, not from my father, not from my mother, not from any other Tea person.
It's totally unofficially wrong that a thief man would take his wife and then no. It doesn't happen. It doesn't just happen. I don't know where those lies came up from, whether they were from the outsiders or wherever, I don't know. But it's totally wrong.
They submitted that this institution has been on for decades and wondered if any tradition will subject their wives to such demeaning level. Jimmy Azande, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
And now away from Nigeria, Turkish Interior Minister Ali Yerlikaya says a suicide bomber detonated an explosive device in front of the ministry building in the Turkish capital, wounding 2 police officers. Yerlikaya said 2 attackers were responsible for the explosions in front of the Ministry of Interior building, adding that one of them blew himself and the other was neutralized. He said security has been tightened around the Parliament building, including the Interior Ministry building, that are in close proximity. Koscielny said it was too early to say who might be behind the attack. The attack comes as Turkish authorities have been carrying out operations against ISIL members. And finally, on sports news, Team Delta has emerged champion of the 7th National Sports Festival in Asaba. Trust TV, Adene Ajeshafe has more.
The competition that started 10 days ago at Stephen Keshi Stadium, where over 5,000 athletes and officials had gathered to compete for honors in 35 sporting events for 2023 edition of National Youth Games, has ended. The closing ceremony witnessed combined march pasts taken by athletes to celebrate unity and independence, a beautiful mixing of athletes from different states. Team Anambra won girls 100-meter gold with Lucy Chiamaka coasting home in 12.29 seconds. James Igbibije came first in boys 100-meter race for Team Delta in 11.03 seconds. Artist Kayed performance turned the stadium into frenzy with his songs. Hosting an event as its benefits and traders came in their numbers to the stadium. Food vendors, POS operators, fruit sellers, among others, were on ground to earn a living. Prince David, a duvet seller, said he made some money while also wishing for more sporting events to come up in Asaba.
It has been good. The market has been fair, and we've been making a lot of money. Mostly in my business, I've done so many turnout, like I've sold so many sheets. That's what I do.
Juliet Elozino cannot wait for another games.
I really love it though. We just pray they should come back, even if it's next year, so we can make some money now.
President Sport Federation of Nigeria, Isaiah Benjamin, believes more can be done to make youth games better, while commending Delta State government.
So far so good. I can't say for free. Asaba always doing well, and I hope and pray that we will sustain the tempo.
Undisputed Team Delta emerged champions with 51 gold, 34 silver, and 31 bronze medals, with a total of 116 medals to lead the pack of 36 states that participated. Team Lagos second, while Team Edo third. The 8th edition will be back to Asaba, Delta State in 2024. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajeshafe.
And with that, we have come to the end of the News Trust TV News Update on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentary. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for watching and bye for now.